Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Should You Play, where I'm going to show you some spoiler-free gameplay and give you my thoughts after playing new games for a few hours, as well as highlighting and checking out at least one of the PlayStation Plus games for each month. In this video I'm playing one of the October 2024 PlayStation Plus games, WWE 2K24, the latest annual installment in the WWE 2K wrestling game franchise.
Together.
I've talked in the past about how I don't have much love for sports video games, despite being a big fan of a lot of different sports in real life, and wrestling is actually one of the few sports that I know very little about, other than being aware of a few of the bigger names like John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Randy Savage, and a few others.
All the way around the world, now you know what it's all about, brother!
But for those of you who know just as much about wrestling as me, WWE is half athleticism, half entertainment. The matches have various different formats and rules, but most matches end when your opponent is no longer able to fight, whether that be after they've been pinned, knocked out, or they just give up. The gameplay overall feels pretty faithful to wrestling though, which is great for fans who are looking for an authentic experience. Each wrestler has a unique set of moves, including signatures and finishers, but you also have access to grapples, strikes, and aerial maneuvers that reflect real-life WWE techniques. And as you play the game's various modes, you'll start to unlock more and more playable wrestlers. Newcomers to the WWE 2K games may find the tutorial at the start to be throwing a bit too much at you all at once, but once you learn the basics, it's pretty easy to get into the swing of things and learn some of the more complicated moves. The game's AI seemed decent as well, with opponents adapting to your playstyle so you can't just keep using the same techniques over and over to win, but there were also times where AI partners were too passive in their behavior and failed to help when you needed it the most. Once you finish the tutorial within the Performance Center, there are a few different main game modes in WWE 2K24 that you can jump into. There's My Faction, where you collect wrestling cards to build your faction and compete against other factions. There's Universe Mode, a sandbox-style experience where you take complete control of the WWE, customizing shows, storylines, and rivals.
What would you do if you were in charge?
There's Showcase Mode, where you can play iconic WWE moments such as Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage.
The two superstars would forever be etched in history following the match.
My Rise, where you create your own custom wrestler and play through a career of your own. And My GM, where you play as a general manager and oversee a wrestling brand and budget, and compete against others to maximize your popularity and ratings.
Everyone has the potential to be a great GM. Just look at me.
There's also a mode simply called Play, where you can jump into a variety of different match types, and of course an online mode where you can play against other players. Now, one of the things WWE 2K24 does best is the show presentation. I can't say if it makes you feel like you're watching a real WWE broadcast on television or not, but it at least feels like something you'd watch on the in-venue monitors, showcasing all of the entrances, the match itself with a handful of different camera angles, and what seems like fairly good commentary. Though there were more than a few times where the broadcast announcers either repeated themselves or got cut off suddenly.
No, not pretty!
One of the smaller issues I had here was with the live-action cinematics that played at the start of each game mode, as well as within the Showcase mode, because the volume was much quieter than the rest of the game, and despite going through the volume settings to try to balance it out, I wasn't able to get it any louder than it was. Of course, now is where I'm going to talk about the graphics, and while they're not as bad as a lot of other sports video games are, I still don't think WWE 2K24 looks as good as it should. Most of the wrestlers look just like their real-life counterparts, probably assisted by the fact that many of them have very distinct looks, but there are also plenty that look like they're made out of plastic. Hair clipping is a constant issue, especially with the female wrestlers, and if you look too closely at the crowd, you'll notice that they're all pretty lifeless looking, repeat character models, and share a set of animatronic animations that sometimes make them look like they're inadvertently doing the wave.
Stretching and tearing at all the ligaments in the leg.
As for bugs and glitches, I unfortunately ran into one as soon as I started the tutorial where Drew Gulak wouldn't stop stomping on his opponent, and I had to fully quit the game to get the loop to stop. But the worst bug I ran into was when I was making my custom character in My Rise and ended up somehow giving my character two faces. Something I'm sure wasn't an intentional customization option, and something that comedically carried into the gameplay and cutscenes.
We now know who will fill that final spot in the WWE Universal Championship Tournament.
Beyond that, game performance was solid. Load times, other than the initial first-time boot-up sequence, were quick, and I don't believe I had any issues with frame rate, even when I was playing an 8-man battle royale.
8 superstars in the ring to start this match, but there will be only one winner.
If you're a fan of wrestling or WWE, you'll probably enjoy this one, and most fans of the WWE 2K games seem to be happy as well, especially when compared against WWE 2K20's game-breaking bugs and overall lack of polish. There's plenty of variety in gameplay, and if you're more interested in managing a brand in the My GM mode, or would rather go through the sports history and showcase mode, you'll have more than enough options, in addition to playing matches with as many custom rules as you'd like.
Prime example of working smarter, not harder. That's what I say.
As someone who still isn't the biggest fan of most sports video games, and someone who doesn't follow WWE though, I wouldn't consider this a must-try game for broader audiences. As always though, this is just my opinion. If you're just starting your career, or if you've already become a WWE superstar, let me know in the comments what you thought of WWE 2K24.
You heard him. Time to hit the ropes, and good luck.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
It's time for Fatal 4-Way action.
I've got a feeling this one's going to be very intense, even by Fatal 4-Way standards.
I agree. There's just an extra element of aggression in the air right now.
Into the cover. Feet on the ropes.
Wait. Come on, ref, open your eyes.
And he doesn't stay down for long.